All right. First and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Christ, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother, Chief Priest Alazar Ben Lawyer, aka the Guerrilla Hebrew. Excuse me, Salakia. Joined always by my esteemed colleague, Deacon Hakar Goeyam, for the 30, I believe it's the 33rd Situation Room. Am I correct, Deacon? The Deacon. The Deacon. There he is.
Okay, I'm back.
Is this the 33rd Situation Room?
You know what? I'm lacking.
And you're on
team.
Your team, huh?
Team no lacking. Let me get this shared on Facebook real quick. Okay, so we are about to do this. Everybody shared this big controversy. This big controversy right now. We about to put this to an end. Okay. One of the first Hebrew words you learn with us. Wow.
So yeah, man, Salakia, we getting ready to go into this controversial thing, man. That's been brought to our attention that the non-messianic demon is back. Y'all gotta understand, you've been this truth as long as myself and Deacon Akago, and when you're lucky enough to be in the knowledge for this amount of time, and as long as elders that came before, you see these demons. They be on a cycle. What's the new thing out? What's the new doctrine out? What's this out? What's that? And this is one of them now. Like the non-messianic, we've had to deal with this at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, we dealt with it more than that, but as far as like seeing the demon back on the rise, at least an easy 3, 4 times. Easy. So we just, you know what I mean? Oh my God, I'm back at it again. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's it. But you gotta understand something. And we give all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because we're gonna go into these prophecies. Because the testimony, matter of fact, give me Revelations 19:10 to start. Let's just start as the foundation. Because we're not even gonna use the New Testament after this for real. But we're gonna use it now, right? Because we're gonna go into that Old Testament and we're gonna prove what we're saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? So yeah, let me know when you got it, pal.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren.
Hold on. Deacon, you got your thing selected, so you gotta click off of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, don't select nothing. Right, until you about to talk.
Is it still on me?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this tonight. It's still on you. Hold on. Let me.
I can do it.
Do it. Press me real quick.
I got you.
All right, you press me. Okay, now it's working. All right, yeah, you gonna have to do everything manually. All right, that's fine. All right, go ahead. Revelation 19:10.
Revelation 19:10.
Uh-huh.
And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not.
He says, oh, go ahead, just keep going.
See thou do it not. See thou do it not. I am a servant.
Go ahead.
And of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
So it said the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So if you're not attesting to Hamashiach Yahushua being the one that is the Messiah, if you're not attesting to that, you're not going to really fully be able to understand these prophecies for real. It's going to be an impossibility. All right. This is why these guys don't get a lot of stuff and they be hitting brick walls, or you ask them about other prophecies, or they don't even really deal with prophecies. Most non-Messianic dudes. Why don't they? Because they don't have the spirit of prophecy, because they are denying the one who shed his blood. Right? Go ahead.
John 15:23. He that hateth me hateth my Father also.
That's right. So in truth, if you hate Hamashiach Yahushua, you hate Yahweh, you hate the Most High, right? Period. But go ahead, Deacon.
Con, so I couldn't have said it no more better than myself. We definitely got to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son Yahushua. All right, who is the King and the Christ. And so we just want to do something different tonight. We're not going to touch the New Testament. We're not going to, because here's what the nation of Israel has to understand. Us Messianic Israelites. This is what we have to understand. You don't battle a non-Messianic brother and go into the Old Testament and prove there's a Messiah. You just don't do that. They're going to say, yes, I believe in the Messiah, but the Messiah hasn't came yet. So the best way to shut this false doctrine down is to go into the holy inspired text, the prophecies, and show the timeline of when the prophet said the Messiah would come. The prophets, they gave a timeline where we can't go with beyond those ramifications. And so that's how you deal with it. Because like I said, Messianic prophecies are all over the Old Testament. So yeah, they're going to say, yeah, we believe in the Messiah. It's just not Jesus. It's not Yahushua, Yeshua, Yahushai. He hasn't came yet. So we're going to show you, brothers and sisters, because of course nobody wanted to come on the show and talk about it. So we just going to show the nation and equip you guys with these scriptures and the prophecies and the timeline to show you that the Messiah has came already according to the prophecies, right? So the scripture we're going to be dealing with, and we're going to get a few of them. We're going to start here. And when I tell you this, brothers and sisters, when you bring this chapter of the Bible out, when you bring these specific texts, these verses out, now Messianics throw out the whole book. What book am I talking about? The book of Daniel. So we're going to go into the book of Daniel.
Just like the rabbinical Jews.
Just
they
like
throw the whole book out.
Like the brother said, the reason why the fake Jews, the Khazars, right? The reason why they throw out the whole book of Daniel is because they cannot get around they can't get around the 70 weeks in Daniel, the 9th chapter. It literally says that the Messiah will come within 70 weeks. So we're going to go into it and show you that it's not literal weeks. It's spiritual weeks, each day for a year. We're going to go into all that, and we're going to show what Messiah was walking the earth during the time that the 70 weeks were fulfilled. We're going to show it through non-secular historians, non-religious historians, all right? And we're going to validate the book of Daniel as well. And we're going to go into a few things. So without further ado, we're going to start with Daniel, the 9th chapter. Daniel chapter 9, all right? Daniel chapter 9. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to need my reader. Daniel chapter 9, I'm going to need my reader. Let's go here to make
sure.
sure.
Like it, man. Yeah, all right. Go ahead, officer.
Okay. So yeah, let's go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 24. All right. We're gonna stick right in Daniel, the holy inspired prophet Daniel.
That's
You
right.
got guys who are saying that Daniel, not only is this book a forgery, but the man Daniel never existed. So we're gonna go into it. We're gonna chop all that down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So go ahead.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 24. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people.
70 weeks are determined upon thy people. Go ahead.
It says, and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression.
To finish the transgression. So after the 70 weeks, at the end of the 70 weeks, the transgression will be finished, right? So go ahead.
It says, and to make an end of sins. And to make reconciliation for iniquity.
Reconciliation for iniquity. Go ahead.
And to bring in everlasting righteousness. And to seal up the vision and prophecy. And to anoint the most holy.
And to anoint the most holy, or the Messiah, right? Now, let's go to, first I want to deal with something. You got guys saying that this is Cyrus. Matter of fact, read verse 25 before we deal with who this Messiah is and how he is going to come and fulfill all of this within 70 weeks. Is it literal? Is it spiritual? What is it? Go ahead.
Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore of the commandment
to what?
To restore and build and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks.
So, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah shall be 7 weeks. And what else?
And 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. So,
the Bible is saying, it says 70 weeks in verse 24. Then it says 69 weeks in verse 25. 69 weeks. The Bible is saying from the go, because we know this is during the Babylonian period, that our temple and our city was destroyed. The Bible says from the going forth to rebuild the city unto the Messiah will be 69 weeks. Now, if this is literal, that's only a year and a couple months. So Jerusalem, the temple itself, when the temple got knocked down by Nebuchadnezzar, I'm just proving that this isn't a literal 70 weeks, right? 70 weeks, I'll give it a year and 5 months. Let's just say a year and a half. If it's literal, it's a year and a half. So if this is literal, it's saying that from the going forth to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem will be a year and a half. You know how idiotic that sounds? Look, the temple being rebuilt. Let's get some conventional chronology. This is just mainstream chronology right here, right? Now, look, check this out, right? We're just proving that these 70 weeks are not literal. Here we see, you guys see my screen, right?
We see it.
Okay, so we see the proclamation of Cyrus to rebuild the temple, 537. We see the temple being completed and dedicated in 515. That's 30 to 40 years. Okay, now watch. We go to 444 circa. Nehemiah rebuilds the city with the help of the builders. The completion of the wall, Jerusalem's done, 444. So you go 537 to 444, we can say roughly 100 years. How do we know this isn't talking about a literal 70 weeks? Is because it took almost 100 years for the temple and the city to be rebuilt. So this shows us that it's not a literal 70 weeks. The Messiah spoken of here couldn't be Cyrus because Cyrus gave the proclamation to rebuild the temple. You wanted to interject?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the water Derek Yehudi Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. But yeah, I got a precept just to show you what the week is talking about, right? Go ahead.
Genesis 29 and 27.
Uh-huh.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service, which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
7 other years. So this week is a set of 7 years, not 7 days. So it's showing you that a week is not always just 7 days. So 7 years. So I mean, that's what we're dealing with here.
Hey, and matter of fact, while we're at it, I got this pulled up since you brought that out. Ezekiel, let me go in closer. Ezekiel 4, chapter 4, Ezekiel 4, verse 4 to 6. Go ahead and read that real quick, Baba Kushad Assad.
This is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 4. It says, lie thou also upon thy left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it. According to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days. 390 days, so shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year.
Each day for a year. So we see the prophetic numerology in the Bible where the day is considered as a year, right? So now let's go back here and let's read verse 25 one more time. Go ahead.
This is Daniel. You don't gotta pull it up. Here, I'll just get it. Daniel chapter 9, verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times.
Right. So again, if this is literal weeks, then our temple and our city, our whole city, all of Jerusalem, would have been built within a year and a half. And we know it almost took 100 years, according to all the biblical chronology that you will find. All right. So now that we know this is talking spiritually, how many years is 70 weeks? Anybody who's good at math or has a calculator, it's 490 years. 490 years. So here the Bible is saying is within everything from verse 24 and 25 is going to happen within 490 years. Specifically, the Messiah within 483 years. Let's go into some. Oh, I wanted to say that. So people are saying that it's Cyrus. It can't be Cyrus because that's already passed. Somebody said that this Messiah was was Cyrus. And here's why it can't be Cyrus, because it said that it would start at the going forth of the building of the city, right? I'll read it myself. From the going forth to the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. Cyrus didn't give that proclamation. Cyrus only gave the proclamation to rebuild the temple. The proclamation to rebuild Jerusalem, as prophesied, came from Artaxerxes, when he sent Nehemiah with all that he needed to rebuild the city in Jerusalem. So it can't be Cyrus, because the 70 weeks didn't start until 80 years damn near after Cyrus, right? So let's go back here. And some people say it was Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel was during the same time as Cyrus. So it would have started after Zerubbabel. So it couldn't be Zerubbabel either, right? So let's go to let's do some. Who got an online calculator? Well, y'all got your calculators, right? So you start at 444, the commandment to rebuild Jerusalem, which is about 444 circa. And then all you have to do is subtract 483 years. So according to the prophecy of Daniel, it's saying that once the commandment is giving forth to rebuild Jerusalem, it would take 483 years for the Messiah to come. This is facts. So if you don't want to say it's Yahushua, if you don't want to say it's Jesus, if you don't want to say it's Yahushua, you would have to show me who was in Israel doing all the works that Daniel prophesied, being called the Messiah 483 years from the going forth to rebuild Jerusalem. And guess what it comes out to? It comes out to about 30 AD when we say the Messiah died, in between 30 and 40. So if that's not biblical prophecy to an exact T, I don't know what the hell is. You brothers have to show us a Messiah who was killed, which verse 26 is going to explain that, who came and preached and was turning people to everlasting righteousness and making reconciliation and doing all these great works and being called by the Messiah, the Hamashiach, during 30 to 40 AD. And you'll find no other but who we call Yahushai. You'll find no other. So this is why the Jews throw out the whole book of Daniel, the fake Jews. And this is why non-Messianic, Old Testament only brothers throw out the whole book of Daniel. You got some brothers who try to say it's
who they follow. They following the white Jew.
Yeah, they following the white Jew, right? So you got some brothers that just came out with a breakdown and said that it was that the Messiah here is Onias the third, right? And let's take a look at this.
What a joke!
Third, we'll give it. He became, when Antiochus became king, Onias was okay. We'll just say 175 BC circa. That's not 483 years from the going forth to build the city. That doesn't add up. That's off by at least over 200 years. So it can't be Onias the third. That's wrong. Show me the Messiah that fits the ramifications and timeline of Daniel, the 9th chapter, 483 years from when we rebuilt the city from Babylon, from the Babylonians destroying it.
Carlos Anderson, Tawada, Yahbashim Yahshua Brakatah.
So let's go into verse 26, Baba Kushah. This is a good point.
Go ahead.
Verse 26, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
So after 69 weeks, this Messiah who was going to come do all these great works would be killed.
62 weeks.
Salakia, 62 weeks. Well, hold on. So the 62 weeks will be after the 7. So it's adding the 62 plus the 69. I'm sorry, it's the 62 plus the 7. And then it leaves the 1 week at 70 AD.
God, you're right. Salakia.
Yeah. So go ahead, read that again.
It says, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. But not for himself. And the people of the prince.
So after this 483 years, which brings us right to about 30 to 40 AD, all praise Yahweh Shai, the Messiah will be cut off. Y'all niggas don't know. Y'all niggas can't find a Messiah who was doing these great works, being called by Messiah from non-religious secular historians and Jews themselves. And if you can find it, show me where he was written about. Show me the written records, because we got the records. It's called the New Testament, and also outside sources, extra biblical sources. So keep going. Here's a better point. Go ahead.
It says, but not for himself, and the people of the prince.
So after he's cut off or killed, the Messiah, after he's killed, the people of the prince that shall come, meaning a prince will come after this Messiah is put to death, shall do what?
Shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
Shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. So look at that. So in 483 years, the city will be rebuilt, the Messiah will come, but then at the end of it, here's what shows you that it's not a literal 70 weeks as well. At the end of this 70 weeks, the city will be destroyed again and the temple will be destroyed again. So that didn't happen a year and a half from Cyrus, or a year and a half from Artaxerxes putting out the proclamation or Cyrus putting out the proclamation. How the hell is the city going to be destroyed and the temple going to be destroyed when it's being rebuilt? That's how you know it's not talking about a literal 70 weeks. But at the end of this 483 years, right, or 490, because now it's coming up on the last week, it would end with the city being destroyed again, the temple being destroyed again, and us being desolated. So that would be the last war. And what war? Look at this, the end of the war. Which war is that? What week is that? That's the last week. That's the 70th week.
That's right.
And that happened with Titus Vespasian. We all know this history, right?
The Jewish-Roman Wars.
So I'm gonna let you break down verse 27, because you do it so eloquently, right? But
all personal.
the key point is that we're going to give you guys understanding on this because it's very interesting and edifying. But the point is, brothers and sisters, that Daniel prophesied that the Messiah would come 483 to 490 years within from when it was the king of Persia gave the commandment to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. So either Daniel was a false prophet or the Messiah came within that time frame. And we're going to validate Daniel.
Either he was a false prophet or a perfect prophet.
Right, yeah.
Adrian, we're
going to validate Daniel with other books of the Bible and outside sources and archaeology as well. So go ahead. You guys could break down verse 27 and we'll move on from there.
I'm going to finish 26. It says, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Mm-hmm. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Read on.
And in the midst of the week,
in the what?
Midst of the
in
week,
the midst of the week. Read on.
He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. This last week is dealing with the Roman Jewish wars. The Roman Jewish wars started in 66 AD and ended in 73 AD. So the middle of that would be 69, 70, right? So in 70 AD, what happened? Read it again.
It says, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
How did he do that? He destroyed the temple. If the temple is destroyed, there is no sacrifice or oblation, right? So this is all perfect prophecy through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, right? Read on.
And for the overspreading of abominations,
the abomination of desolation, read on.
He shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Okay, so now it says here, read that first part again.
It says, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until
read the top of the verse again.
Okay, verse 27. All right. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
He shall confirm the what?
The covenant.
The what?
The covenant.
The what?
The covenant.
He shall confirm the covenant. So this 1 week, the Jewish Roman wars, the prince, who is Titus Vespasian, okay, not Yahushua here, the prince here is Titus Vespasian, is confirming the covenant with many, meaning those that live in Israel. What is the covenant that's being confirmed between us and Titus Vespasian? It's very simple. It's elaborated earlier in this chapter in verse 11 and 12. So skip to 11, read 11 and 12. Go ahead.
It's Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. It says, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
All Israel have done what?
Transgressed thy law.
The Israelites broke the laws of God. Read on.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
The curse. What curse? Deuteronomy 28. Read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
Deuteronomy 28. Cedric Emmanuel, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah Wathawala. Go ahead.
The servant of the Most High.
Keep going.
Because we have sinned against him.
Read on.
And he hath confirmed.
He have done what? Read slow. Go ahead.
And he hath confirmed.
He have what?
Confirmed his word.
He have confirmed. Notice it say confirm the covenant, right? Then here we hear about an oath of a curse coming upon us, and then we hear in 12 that it's being confirmed. So the covenant that's being confirmed on us through Titus Vespasian is the covenant that we said if we disobeyed the laws of God that the curses would come on us. So Vespasian coming in and doing what he did in 70 AD and doing a whole Jewish Roman wars from 66 to 73 was in part the curses happening to Israel. So that's the covenant that's being confirmed in 27. So finish 12.
And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
That's right. So it's a great evil is happening. Keep reading the 14. A great evil is happening, and that happened during the time of the Babylonians. That also happened partially during the time of the Greeks. That also happened during the time of Titus Vespasian in the Jewish-Roman wars. That also happened here in the Americas, because it's on a cycle, right? We sin, this happens. Keep going.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore hath Yahweh watched upon the evil.
Watched upon the evil, read on.
And brought it upon us.
He brought it upon us. So the covenant is being confirmed through Titus Vespasian. The Most High is bringing that evil upon us through Titus Vespasian. That's what that means. Go ahead.
For the Lord our God is righteous in all of his works.
That's right. Go ahead.
Which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice.
That's right. So he's righteous in doing it because what? Because we sinned against him. So he brings curses upon us. That's what we agreed to in Deuteronomy 28. So that's the understanding on verse 27. Right?
And was that it?
That's it. That's it on that.
Yeah. And also too, like I have to harp on the fact, because you got some silly ass Negroes who think the 70 weeks is literal. That would literally mean the Bible is saying within a year and a half, your city will be built, your temple will be built, and then at the end of a year and a half, your temple will be destroyed and your city will be destroyed. That's historically blasphemous. And
anybody saying that is just plain dumb. That's not even that's not even worthy of entertaining somebody thinking that 70 weeks is literally the 70-week timeline. You got to be stupid.
God. So
especially when it works out. Y'all can say whatever the hell you want. We just broke it down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai perfectly. I'm talking about perfectly, to where if you disagree, you really can't put it together better than that still. And if you think, what is this they say in Daniel was written now? Some of the naysayers are trying to allege it was written in the hundreds BC.
Bro, this brother told me 170 BC.
That's great. Let's say it was 170. How is it predicting accurately what would happen 200 years later? It's still prophecy. There's no way around this.
Con. Well, we're gonna get the dating through the spirit. Now I wanna show something, because we're begging the question. We can show you a Messiah who came within this timeline, being called the Messiah by Jews in Palestine, being called the Messiah by secular historians, non-religious historians. But here's the problem. You brothers cannot show us a Messiah different than Yahweh Shai, who was written about and did all these great works and was being called the Messiah.
Torah Mafia, you want to get on? Torah Mafia is in the building.
Torah Mafia, don't time out Torah Mafia.
Torah Mafia said it's Cyrus because it's Isaiah 44. What say you?
Okay. Okay. Well, Torah Mafia, we can drop the link in the chat right now, and yeah, don't time him out. Don't time.
Yeah, no. If any non-messianic come in here, do not time them out. Let them rock. We need them in here. We want to get them on. This is the point that we're doing it. They were all too scared to accept a channel. Let's try to get them on now. Don't time out any non-messianic.
Con. So Torah Mafia, you have two options. You can come on the show and we can just ask you a question of why you believe in Cyrus, or you can
hold on real quick now. Salakia, go ahead. Go ahead, Salakia.
Or you could just stay in the chat and you can ask your questions in the chat. I ain't trying to put no pressure on you, my brother. But if you want to come on, we can deal with it. If not, you can put your question in the chat. Go ahead, respond, let me know. We'll wait. We'll wait to proceed until we get a response from Torah Mafia. G-Con talking about open up the panel. G-Con, we believe.
G-Con, we're talking about people who don't believe in the Messiah. So why do you want the panel open?
Yeah, just the thirsty Negro.
He bored, man. You know he bored on that open road. on Old Town Road right now.
He said, "Open up the panel. Let's debate what we both believe." So G consciousness. Oh my goodness, you're saying the 70 G consciousness. Are you saying that the 70 weeks are literal?
G-Con, we're saying that the 70 weeks are not literally 70.
No. He's playing. He's
7
about
days.
to get timed out.
It's not 70 sets of 7 days.
No, he just put some laughing faces. He's
Okay.
playing. I'm gonna have to time his ass out. Okay, so I don't think the brother's gonna come on. You seen him say it was Cyrus?
That's what he said. He said based off Isaiah 44, it's Cyrus.
Okay.
No, or he said now he's saying he just want clarification.
Okay. So I'll go back to it, brother, before we proceed. Here's how we know it's not Cyrus, brother. It says, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah." So, so you're telling me that Cyrus, the one who gave the commandment to rebuild the temple unto Cyrus, is this from Cyrus unto Cyrus? He's the one, he's the Messiah. Oh my goodness. So Cyrus rebuilt the temple within 70 weeks, within a year and a half.
Yeah, Cyrus does not give the decree to build the city.
Gone.
It's the temple. The city, that's the key thing about Daniel, is say the city. That's what that's how we know it's Artaxerxes and not Cyrus.
Yeah, Salakia. So brother Torah Mafia, just for understanding, brother, you got to put your preconceived notions to the side, and you have to know that Cyrus never gave the commandment to restore or to rebuild Jerusalem. He gave the commandment to restore the temple. So he can't be within the ramifications of 70 weeks. And then it says at the end of the 70 weeks that the temple would be destroyed and the Messiah would be killed. So you're telling me from the time Cyrus came to put the commandment for the temple to 70 weeks, the temple would have been built in a year and a half. It just retarded, brother. 70 weeks are not literal. Okay, so let's go. Okay, there you go. He said Isaiah 44 and 28. And we understand that Cyrus would give the commandment to restore the temple, brother. But we're saying that Daniel is saying the commandment to restore and to rebuild Jerusalem. And then at the end of the 70 weeks, the sanctuary and the city will be destroyed. Let me read it for you. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. He's saying that this is Cyrus, right? But not for himself. So Cyrus is going to be killed, but not for himself. And the people of the prince will, if Cyrus is the Messiah, who's the prince? That shall come shall destroy the city and sanctuary. When was our city and temple destroyed? Post Cyrus.
Listen. Here's the clarification he needs. I got you. Don't even trip, brother. I got you. Here's the clarification you need, because you need to go into the actual historical account of what happened biblically, which is found where? In Ezra and in Nehemiah, right? So let's read it. Ezra 1 and 3. Matter of fact, let's start at Nehemiah 2 and 5. Right? Nehemiah 2 and 5 is the first place we need to go. Nehemiah 2. Yeah, we're going to start at Nehemiah 2 and 5, right? And it read, "And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it." Right?
Okay, real quick. He said, he just said He's not saying Cyrus is the Messiah. He's saying the decree started with
I,
Cyrus.
I know exactly what he's saying, and that's what I'm disproving, because you was focusing on him saying Cyrus is the Messiah. I'm gonna show you the history, Torah Mafia. So again, pay attention, right? Again, Nehemiah 2 and 5, right? And I said, this is who is this speaking? Nehemiah, right? And I said unto the king, who's the king? Let's go to verse 1 to find out who the king is. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 12th year of Artaxerxes the king. So Artaxerxes is the king Nehemiah is talking to, right? And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. So Nehemiah is petitioning to the king 12 years into his reign. So this is 12 years after Cyrus's reign is over, right? Or is it after Darius's reign? So like, this is well after Cyrus reigns. He's still asking to go to Jerusalem so he can rebuild the temple. So what does that let you know? That, I mean, the city, not the temple, the city. So what does this let you know? That the city was not rebuilt at the decree of Cyrus, brother. All right, let's further prove this. Ezra 1 and 3. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him. This is the actual decree, right? Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. So the decree was never to go and rebuild Jerusalem. The decree that Cyrus gave was to rebuild the house only. Let's further prove this. Ezra 4, starting at 1. Ezra 4 and 1. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto Yahweh, power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers. Remember, the temple now. And said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, you have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us. What are they building? The house, as commanded by Cyrus, the house. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So we didn't even complete the building of the temple during the reign of Cyrus, king of Persia, because you had lobbyists that frustrated our purpose. So we don't see its completion until the reign of Darius, and then we see Nehemiah during the reign of Artaxerxes still begging to come and get the city rebuilt. So we understand that it's going from Artaxerxes because that's when the decree to rebuild the city comes out. That's the difference, brother. But go ahead.
So somebody's saying my volume is short, my volume is low. Can y'all hear me pretty well? Can y'all hear me pretty well? If you can, just put a 1 in the chat so we can proceed. Okay, cool. So the brother said it's the great Torah teacher. That sounds like it might be Quinai.
Yeah, the great Torah teacher. Who is that? Who is that? A lot of brothers are great Torah teachers. Who is this person? How do we find them in history? Where do we find documentation to attest to their existence? You can't just throw things out there, man. We couldn't just throw out that it was Artaxerxes. We just went right in the Bible and proved it through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So show me something, man. Period.
Con. A lot of people, they say they talk about it's some great Torah teacher of righteousness, but we don't see the writings. Please produce some writings,
sources, please,
where we can see this great Torah teacher who fits the timeline of Daniel. Now, what we're gonna do real quick is move on to some secular historians who corroborate that we were calling a man the Messiah within the timeline of Daniel, the 70 weeks. who were calling the man Messiah, right? And there was also what they would call Messianics following him, which would be in English Christians. All right. So the first one, everybody should know this. Again, we're just trying to equip the brothers and sisters who are really in the faith to be able to deal with this madness and false doctrine. Before I say that, though, I wanted to say this. So, like the brother said, we broke it down through the Spirit perfectly. And this is the reason why the rabbinic Jews and non-Messianic Hebrew Israelites throw away the whole book of Daniel, because they have no answer for who this Messiah was 490 years from the going forth to rebuild the city, right? So now, after we prove with history, we're going to go in and validate the book of Daniel. And then we're going to see if they're going to throw away the books of the Bible that validate Daniel, all right? So we're going to go to Tacitus. I know a lot of people say Tacticus. It's actually Tacitus, right? The Roman historian and senator Tacitus referred to Christ, his execution by Pontius Pilate, and the existence of early Christians in Rome in his final work. You can go get his writings. I mean, this right here is the easiest non-Christian. They actually call him a pagan. They call him a pagan because in the time that pagan was used was just a non-Israelite back then, right? So he doesn't have anything invested or no motive to corroborate the existence of this man who they were calling the Messiah or Yahushua, right? That's just one. Let's click out of that. Pliny the Younger, the Roman governor of Bithynia, right? He also, when he wrote a letter to Emperor Trajan around 112 AD, he asked for counsel on dealing with Christians, Messianics, those following the Messiah, right? Pliny the Younger, that's another one. Suetonius on Christians, another Roman historian, Suetonius, 69 AD to 122, mentions early Christians and may refer to Jesus Christ in his works, Lives of the 12 Caesars. And then here's what's funny. In Acts chapter 18, verse 2, the writer of the Acts, the author of Acts, he, matter of fact, he talks about the expulsion. He talks about the expulsion of Jews by Trajan, not by Trajan, I'm sorry, by Claudius, right? The expulsion of Jews from Rome by Claudius during his reign, 41 to 50 AD to 54 AD, right? Which may be the expulsion mentioned in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 18, verse 2. In this context, Cresto is mentioned. Some scholars likely see this as a likely reference to Jesus, while others see it referring to an otherwise unknown person living in Rome, right? So the fact is, when you mention Christians and you mention the Christos, the Messiah, we understand what it's talking about, especially with this early dated reference from AD 41 to AD 54 of when Claudius, the emperor, was expelling Jews from Rome, right? Let's move on. Lucian, right? Lucian of Samosata, right? Generally just Lucian, 125 CE to 180 CE, right? He mentions Christians. He even says, and here's how you know they're secular and they're non-religious. Look what he said. He says, he speaks about Christians, right? Let me. Okay, so he speaks about Christians, right? He speaks about Palestine, right? But look what he says. He says in the bold, they revered him as a god, made use of him as a lawgiver, and set him down as a protector. Next, after that other, to be sure, whom they still worship, the man who was crucified in Palestine, because he introduced this new cult into the world. And this is how we know that being called a Christian was a derogatory term, and how they looked at us like a crazy cult for following this Messiah, right? All right, so let's go from there to Murabar Serapion, sometimes spelled Murabar Serapion, was a Stoic philosopher of the Roman province of Syria, right? He even mentions 73 AD. He even mentions, they say this is one of the earliest non-Christian references to the crucifixion of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? And there are so many more, but these are just some early first century to second century non-Christian, non-religious, secular historians that corroborate that during the timeline of Daniel, there was a man who was called the Messiah in Palestine, Jerusalem, Israel, and being called the Messiah and having Messianics following him, calling themselves Christians. All right.
Like
So,
it, real quick, special shalom to Zaquan Priest Kahan just popped up in the chat. Shalom, elder.
Shalom, Zaquan, coming in this thing half a century. I see you're approaching that half a century. All right, so let's go from there and let's just validate. Let's get that. I'm gonna bring out the other prophets who, because you got some brothers who say that the prophet Daniel never existed. So because of Daniel 9 and how they can't get around it. So I'm gonna have Alazar speak on some archaeology, but I want to read these three scriptures real quick. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 4, right? It says, though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith Yahweh our power. So here you have the prophet Ezekiel substantiating that Daniel is a historical and biblical figure, did exist, right? So by that logic, you got to throw away the whole book of Ezekiel because he's corroborating Daniel. Again, he does in Ezekiel 28, verse 3. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. So Ezekiel, the prophet, is holding Daniel in so much high esteem with his wisdom, which is how we know his prophecies are so valid, and he was shown a lot. He was shown a time span from the Babylonian captivity all the way to the end of time into the kingdom, right? So first, let's go to First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 60. Now, you got Hebrew Israelites that are even throwing away the Apocrypha, but they'll say that it's a historical book. Okay, cool. Let's deal with this historical book. Let's not look at it like doctrine, whatever. We could just deal with it being a historical book. Let's see what what's written in the Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 60. It says, Daniel, oh no, let's start at verse 57, right? He's bringing out, we'll start at 55. He's just going through a whole line of our forefathers, right? So it says, Jesus, which is really Joshua, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, our king, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law. So I guess all these guys are made up too, right? Was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, oh, look, and they're talking about being saved out of the flame, which was written in the book of Daniel. And then he goes, verse 60. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. So here you guys have it. You admit that it's a historical book and is giving reference to the man Daniel and what's written in the man Daniel's book. So that's just a validation with other Bible verses. So you could go ahead and speak on the archaeology you was referring to.
Just giving y'all a couple, in the spirit, a couple quick archaeological references to give validity to the book of Daniel in history. Of course, we have the Aramaic or the Chaldean fragment of the book of Daniel found amongst the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have the it's pronounced the Nebu Sarskim tablet as well. We have the Assyrian label as well as Babylonian Chronicle BM 21946. All of those things substantiate the book of Daniel. Priest Kahan, Tawadi Yabashim Yashar Barakatah, Saquan. That's right. Salvation is nearer than we believe. All praises.
Khan.
But yeah, Khan, go ahead.
Okay, so now let's wrap this up so we could possibly do a quick Q&A. Okay, so my question, hopefully our our Israelite brothers and sisters, they see this, and they our non-messianic brothers see this and refute it with sources, with corroborating scriptures, with history, etc. Right now, since you don't believe that the Messiah has came already, my question to the non-messianics is: when the Messiah comes, what would he do? What would his mission be? Right? Because according to prophecy, and this is what indicates the so-called two comings, right? Or what we would call, what generally is called the second coming, right? So when we see the prophecies that the Messiah would, so here's what a non-messianic would have to believe: that the Messiah, when he comes, because he hasn't came yet, according to them, when he comes, he's gonna have to die, and he's gonna have to be subjugated. Then he's gonna somehow conquer the whole world and destroy all his enemies. That doesn't even make sense, and that would frustrate the prophecies. This is how we know that the scriptures are saying that the Messiah would have to come once to die and be subjugated, and then the second coming, or the other coming rather, would be to conquer the world and liberate Israel. So let's get the prophecies right, saying that when he comes, he would have to die. So Daniel 9:25. Know therefore and understand.
Like it real quick. The water to the brother Tiberius Edwards. Yabashim Yasharahla.
Con. Well, actually, it's Daniel 9:26. I don't feel like restoring my. Can you grab that for me real quick, Hassad? I put the wrong scripture in. Grab Daniel 9:26 one more time, because we just want to prove how idiotic you guys sound, saying that the Messiah haven't came, but when he does, he's going to be put to death and then somehow come back and conquer the whole world and be subjugated and slapped around. We're going to get all these prophecies to show you that it would have to be two separate comings of the Messiah. So go ahead.
You said 9:26?
Yeah.
All right, Daniel chapter 9, verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. But not
so
for...
Daniel says, that's all I need. So Daniel says that when the Messiah comes, he will be cut off. He will be put to death. Right? Now, Hassad, get Isaiah 53:8. Now, some non-messianics say this is talking about the nation of Israel. The suffering servant is the nation of Israel. Anybody can go look up. I'm telling you right now, the puniest, weakest Christian in the world has won debates on Isaiah 53 not being Israel. I'm telling you that right now. You can find that information. You can just read it and reason and logically deduce it, that Isaiah 53 is actually talking about a person, not the nation of Israel.
I got Isaiah 53 though.
53:8.
Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 53, verse 8. It says, he was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
So the Messiah, this is what shows you that it's not talking about the nation of Israel. This is actually talking about one person. Okay, and anybody reading into the scriptures something else is just schizophrenic and suffering from acute paranoia. So Isaiah 53:8 says that the Messiah will be cut off from the land of the living, meaning the Messiah would have to die. Get Psalms 22:16.
Okay. This is the book of Psalms chapter 22 and verse 16. Oh, my fault. Okay, Psalm 22, verse 16. For dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet.
What does that indicate? Somebody being crucified. And this is David speaking in the spirit, as he always says he is during his writings, right? This didn't happen to David. He never lost no battle. He was never pierced by his hands and his feet on a stake, right? So this is King David prophesying through the spirit that the Messiah would come and have to die. Get Psalm 16:10.
This is Psalm chapter 16 and verse 10. It says, for thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Right. So here King David is saying that the Lord is not going to leave his soul in the grave and his body is not going to decay. Well, that didn't happen with King David. He saw corruption, right? Don't they got his tomb? Didn't they find his tomb?
King David's tomb, his sepulcher. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, somebody might have to research that. But we see that that's another prophecy or him speaking through the Spirit, right? The same as Psalms 22 and 16. Now go to Micah chapter 5, and we're going to read, I was going to read this whole thing, but I just want to read verse 1 to 2.
Okay. Let's see, book let's see. Micah, you said 5, 1 and 2?
Yeah.
All right, Micah chapter 5, verse 1. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek.
So Micah is saying that when this Messiah comes, and we're going to prove this is the Messiah, when this Messiah comes, he's going to get slapped to hell in his face with a rod on his cheek.
What's up?
Get beat down, bullied, subjugated. Now, how can that be if the Bible says when the Messiah comes, he's going to conquer the whole world and destroy our enemies and save us? This indicates two separate comings of the Messiah. Unless you guys want to convolute all these prophecies of the Messiah and say when he comes, he's going to get slapped in the face, subjugated, bullied, beat down, killed, rise from the dead, and then liberate Israel and destroy all the nations. Not going to happen. We're going to further prove that this indicates two separate comings, right? So keep going, verse 2.
But thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
Right, that's the Messiah. Go ahead.
Whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting.
Right, now, it's not Hezekiah. It's not anybody else. It's not, they had to be born. This Messiah would be a special spirit who has been there with the Most High from the beginning, although, of course, created and not co-eternal like the Most High. It said his going forths are from old, from everlasting. When you get into the Hebrew, his starting point was from ancient times, not when he was born to fulfill this prophecy, right? So now let's so we see that we got the prophecies that's saying what's going to happen when the Messiah comes. Now go to Numbers 24 and 17 and 19, because then the other prophecies say that he's going to come and destroy everybody and nobody's going to be on his level. Well, which one is it? It would have to indicate that he came already and he's coming again. Two comings. Go ahead.
Numbers 24 and 17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth.
Keep going.
And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob
Verse
shall
19.
come, my fault. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city.
Right. So now here's a prophecy saying that the Messiah is going to destroy all the nations and make them slaves and make Israel do valiantly. How? If he's going to be killed and slapped with a rod on the cheek, how's he going to conquer? What does this indicate? That the Messiah will be coming twice. Get Psalms 110 and 1.
Falling now.
We good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Psalm chapter 110, verse 1. It says, Yahweh said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until
That's a psalm of who?
A psalm of David.
A psalm of David. So niggas will say this is David. This ain't a psalm. This ain't David. This Lord right here, lowercase Lord, who's sitting at the right hand of the Most High, Yahweh, is not David. This is David writing. Go ahead.
This out of one. Go ahead.
This out of one.
Read it like that in the Hebrew.
No, you can read it verbatim.
Okay. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Mm-hmm.
So what is, wait. So what does that let you know? That this Lord, all right, now in the Hebrew it says Yahweh said to my outer one, right? So this is David. Matter of fact, hold on, before we go, give me that in Matthew real quick. When he confounded the Sadducee. Salakia, because this gotta come out. Salakia, I'm eating.
Got it.
This gotta come out. It's metaphoric, because we eating these niggas up in the spirit. You see?
Luke chapter 20, verse 41.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto them, how say they that Christ is David's son?
Uh-huh.
And
so how are they saying? He's confounded. He said, how is the Messiah David's son? Read.
And David himself saith in the book of Psalms.
Uh-huh. The psalm we read.
The Lord said unto my Lord.
The what?
The Lord said unto my Lord.
Read on.
Sit thou on my right hand.
Uh-huh.
Till I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Read on.
David therefore calleth him Lord.
Uh-huh.
How was he then his son?
He said, wait. David is calling his son his Lord. Now that the Sadducee didn't know what to say. So, but this is showing you that it's David's son who the Messiah. This is the understanding Israel has of this. That this is talking about the Davidic Messiah. And David is referring to the Davidic Messiah, which springs forth out of his loins as his Lord. Coincidentally, this Lord is said to be seated at the right hand of the Most High Yahweh until he make his enemies his footstool. So we go into the prophecies about his death, like we read. Then we go into a prophecy that say he's going to be sit at the right hand of the Father until he makes his enemies his footstool. So that reconciles the prophecies about his death and suffering and the prophecies about his reign and coming and destroying all the children of Sheth and making Edom a possession, because he'd be seated at the right hand of the Father until the Father sends him back to do the conquering. Exactly what the New Testament says, exactly what we've all already known. But if you deny that, you're going to have a hard uphill battle trying to make sense of these prophecies. Right? Because you have some people say it's a Davidic Messiah and it's a Levitical Messiah, an Aaronic Messiah. Well, but all these messianic prophecies about suffering and reigning are all about David's son. So that's out. But go ahead.
Okay, you can read verse 2, then we're gonna move on. Psalms 110, verse 2.
Psalm 110, verse 2. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies.
So that's another prophecy that said the Messiah is gonna come and conquer and rule, right? Now get Jeremiah 23 and matter of fact, let's get Jeremiah 33, 15 to 17. Let's get that.
Jeremiah chapter 33 and verse 15. My bad. It says, in those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David.
Right. So David is not going to be the Messiah. This is talking about a branch, a root from David. Keep going.
And he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land.
He's going to execute judgment in the land. How are you going to execute judgment and be getting slapped in his face? I have to reiterate that, and getting his hair poured out and spit on, but still destroying people. Indicating two comings. Go ahead.
Verse 16. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness.
That's good. That's good. Keep going. So a lot of people say that's the name for the Messiah that was to come. It just said that she, Israel, meaning that's going to be our name. That's going to be the land of our name. Go ahead.
Yahweh Tazadak.
Come on.
Verse 17. For thus saith Yahweh, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel.
Read it again.
Thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel.
You see that? So it's not going to be David. There's going to be somebody in his stead from his loins. And read verse 8.
He's going to be there, so no, they're not going to be in need for another one because he's there.
Come on. And read verse 18, just because Kahan is watching. Go ahead.
Verse 18, neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings, and to do sacrifice continually.
So look, Levi, we're gonna be back in our proper position, right? Back receiving tithes from the nation. Okay.
God. So now, and here's another question. So we're proving that the Messiah would come and die and be subjugated and be beat, and then we're proving that he's coming to conquer and destroy all. And we're indicating and showing that he will be coming multiple times and fulfilling these prophecies through different regenerations. Now, is he coming from heaven or is he going to be born? Well, some of the prophecies say he's going to come from heaven, and then some of the prophecies say he's going to be born. Well, it can't be both. What does that indicate? Two comings. And the Messiah came already for the first time, 483 years from the city being built from Jerusalem, which is about 30 to 40 AD, in which scholars, historians in the Bible substantiate that was none other than Yahushua Mashiach, ignorantly called Jesus Christ. So let's get Daniel 7, and we're going to show how the Messiah is going to come from heaven and be born, just to continue the narrative. Go ahead. Daniel 7,
verse 13. I saw the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
He did what?
Came with the clouds of heaven.
So he's coming from heaven. In this prophecy, go ahead.
And came to the Ancient of Days. And they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
Now get Isaiah 9 and 6. So Daniel is seeing the Messiah come from heaven to destroy. And then Isaiah is seeing the Messiah being born. Which one is it? Indicating two comings. You guys got it. Finish it for me. Isaiah 9, 6 to 7.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. For unto us a child is born.
A what?
Unto us a child is born.
No, he's coming from heaven.
Unto us a child is born. It says, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
I heard somebody say this was talking about Hezekiah. It was historically and biblically and emotionally laughable. Read verse 7.
Good point.
The Prince of Peace, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end.
Messiahship, that's the Messiahship. Keep going.
Upon the throne of David.
Yeah, did Hezekiah's throne come to an end? Read.
And upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever.
From henceforth, even forever. Go ahead.
The zeal of Yahweh.
No, that's it on that. So you see how we brought out in Micah 5, his going forth would be from everlasting, just like it's calling the everlasting Father, not the Father Yahweh, but preeminence over creation, right? Because it's all the Prince of Peace, right? So we see that the Messiah comes from heaven in Daniel, and the Messiah is born in Isaiah. So what we're doing is setting the narrative that the Messiah, to fulfill these prophecies, would have to come more than one time, in which we just proved, specifically with Daniel 9 and other precepts, that the Messiah did indeed come and will be coming again to fulfill the unfulfilled prophecies, as we read, as said prophecies, as they would say. So with that, I'm going to see if, Alazar, you want to do like maybe 5 minutes of questions or what?
Real quick, officer has a precept. Go ahead.
Because going back to what you're saying, Deacon, how Isaiah 53, how we proves with verse 8 that that's not talking about the nation of Israel. Verse 9 really proves that it's not the nation of Israel. I'm going to read Isaiah 53 and 9. It says, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. So someone would then have to turn around and tell us that the nation of Israel hasn't done any violence and that there hasn't been any deceitfulness in our mouth. But that's not true, because the Bible says right here, Ezekiel 7 and 23, make a chain For the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. So Ezekiel said, well, the Most High through Ezekiel said that the land was full of violence. But Isaiah 53 and verse 9 says this Messiah, or whoever this is speaking of, that he won't have no violence. So how do you reconcile that?
That's a dagger. That's a simple and plain dagger in the spirit.
Okay. So all praises, man. This is great. I see a little bit fake Hebrew Israelite cult groups put me in timeout. Yahushua isn't Hebrew language at all, and Yahushua isn't. Gabriel Hughes.
Go ahead and block that devil. Go ahead and get him the hell out of here. Thank you very much for your time, your view. Thank you for sitting through a nice ad when you clicked on a link.
Beat it.
And now I'll beat it.
Okay, that's a good question. He said he has a question. If look, I'm gonna answer this question, but I'm not gonna let you guys run from what we brought out today, right? Being that the Messiah will come 483 years.
So, like, you're real quick,
rebuilding of.
They're doing the same thing that the crazy Trinitarian brother did the other day. Instead of dealing with what we bringing out, they want to run to what they think they know. Don't do none of that. Deal with what we bringing out. But just to show you the boldness of understanding given to us by the Holy Spirit, we're going to answer your question still. But you still got to deal with what we brought out. Right? But go ahead, Salakia.
Okay, so when we read, he said, why do we say Jesus is going to deliver us when Daniel 12 says the archangel Michael will deliver us?
First of all, did it say the archangel Michael alone would deliver us? See that the question, y'all gotta stop asking questions that are predicated on false premises. The premise is false. Salakia, you want us to get that? Salakia, not even that. Well, you can get that and then get Revelation 12.
12 and 7. I'm
Is there anything? Because we got a couple precepts. You want to speak on something, Salakia, Deacon?
Well, I was just going to say, the scriptures say that man waxed bold with the thousands of heaven. So, yes, there's going to be a heavenly army, and then he's going to use the elect as his battle axe and weapons of war as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hit the precepts.
Okay. First, I'm going to get Revelation 12 and 7.
Uh-huh.
And there was war in heaven.
Now, there's a war in heaven. Go ahead.
Michael and his angels.
Who?
Michael and his angels.
Michael is captain of the host, right? But Yahushua, general of the army.
That's right.
That's what you got to understand. Go ahead.
Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Exactly. Go ahead.
This is
that'd be like the same if I said I'm sending Deacon over there, or Deacon gonna deal with that. Does that mean I'm not coming too? No, but the Deacon went over there. Go ahead.
2 Thessalonians 1 and 7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us. When the
Lord Yahushua, read,
shall be revealed from
shall
heaven.
Be revealed, the revelation which you see. Revelation 1, when he shall appear with clouds, right, which is the chariots of heaven. Read on.
With his mighty angels.
With what?
His mighty angels.
Who is the captain of all those mighty angels? Ma'aka'Allah. All right? There you go. Now go ahead, Deacon.
No, that's pretty much
it's the situation room. We getting you niggas situated in the spirit. Get them smooth together.
That's right, brother. We going upwards.
That's right.
What does Cam YASHARAHLA mean? It means rise, Israel.
Yeah, that's what it means.
You mean Quam?
Yeah. Somebody also said that Isaiah 9 and 6 was Eliakim.
Interesting. Very interesting. You can't. First off, you can't really tell me much about Eliakim to whoever said that. You ain't know much about Eliakim. All right.
Right.
We can tell you a thing or two about Eliakim.
Right. Yeah, it's been done.
About
so, yeah. I got 4 minutes, brothers and sisters. I got 4 minutes. If y'all want to ask some questions, go ahead.
Till midnight Eastern.
Is taking an American oath against Yahushua's words.
What do you mean taking an American oath? What do you mean?
Probably like swearing in on something or something.
I mean, go ahead.
Technically, yeah, got to be right.
Technically, yes.
And you're going more on Jehovah's Witness. Oh, the Jehovah's Witness. Okay, yeah. Let me. I've been waiting to pull that. She said Jehovah's Witness says that that Michael is Christ. I've been waiting.
Oh yeah, those nutcases. You got Israelites to believe that nut madness as well.
Let me get this. Okay.
Somebody else watching me outside. I thought out the water. Who is this? I missed this one.
Oh, the sister.
Oh, Aliyah Shabai and Ima. Okay.
I got
getting them stitchy. Go ahead.
I got what you want in 1 Thessalonians, Deacon.
Yeah, 1 Thessalonians 4:16.
Yeah, I'm here. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
So Yahweh Shai, the Christ, is going to descend from heaven with a shout.
Christ.
Go ahead.
With the voice of the archangel.
Ooh.
Okay.
With the voice of the archangel. So there's the Messiah, then there's the archangel. Separate. Go ahead.
With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first.
Right now, the Bible only refers to one person as the archangel, and that's Michael. So it's showing you that that's what we should have brought out with Daniel 12, actually, because it's showing you that Yahweh Shai is going to come, and the archangel Michael is going to be right with him. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like being the gorilla, nigga.
That's right, nigga.
I got a question. I mean no folly by asking, but simply for my edification. What nation of people are so-called Eskimos?
They are Israelites of the tribe of Gad, the Alaskan Native, the Inuit people. They're Israelites from the tribe of Gad, man. Gadite brothers, your brothers.
GMS Atlanta said, "Is demonic to praise the Most High through rap music?" Is that true?
Hey, GMS Atlanta. It's demonic that you have a camp member that's a DJ for Young Thug. Nigga, please. Next. Niggas, they talking this stuff. GMS got a nigga in there, Kerry Hilson, little brother, that's Young Thug's DJ. But they gonna talk about it's demonic. This brother do music praising Yahweh. You have a cross-dresser who a nigga in your camp is the DJ for. Nigga, if you don't shut your goddamn mouth coming in my chat, shut up.
Right.
Oh, that was his sister. That was his sister asking about something they said.
Salakia.
Right.
Collateral damage sometimes.
Salakia, sister. That wasn't directed to you. That's directed to any crazy nigga from Great Millstone, Atlanta, of all camps that go on a street in damn Sandy Springs somewhere. Found the only place in Atlanta where no black people are, and preach the word there on a desert block.
Right.
Those pieces of garbage. I know they not talking. Salakia.
Okay. Yes, brother. Creation was done 6,000 years with 1,000 years of rest. So you could say 7,000. I got a question. Can I be friendly with Gentiles? Or, you know, the captain, sometimes he says good morning to Edomites, you know. So
is he
anyway,
going
I'm hoping everybody was edified, and we're looking for some non-Messianic brothers who can watch this video and email us at xodus1715@gmail.com to come on here and let us question your Daniel 9 breakdown. We would love to do it and see who the Messiah was that would come 490 years from Daniel writing his prophecies. And so with that, I'm going to say the water to Chief, the water to Shatar for reading and researching. And Chief, take us out.
All right, real quick, got to make a quick plug. URBN, Urban Gorilla, get your new gear. All right, it's going fast. But yeah, we real quick too. Do remember the 13th, MASHARAH YASHARAHLA Hebrew Summit going down Chicago, Illinois. July 11th to the 14th, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Check us out. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahushai and say Shalom.